slide here, we just want to tell you a little bit about Terra Information Group. So if you're not familiar with us, you know a little bit about who we are and what we do. We've been specializing in HCM since 1997. So in the past 20 years, we've been doing, we're a true HR implementation partner. Historically, we're with SAP HCM, and we're one of the pioneer implementation partners with them. And then more in the last 7 years, it's been a lot more SuccessFactors, just because that's where everything's been going to the cloud. So we're a true certified implementation partner and reseller with SuccessFactors. And now we've implemented over 100 implementations of SuccessFactors throughout the whole suite of all the SuccessFactors modules. And as far as Employee Central, we have an extremely strong team in Employee Central, with over 20 references of projects in Employee Central. So a lot of our clients are really happy with our projects because we offer a fixed time, fixed scope, and a fixed budget. So, you have a very good idea of what the project's going to be, how long it's going to take, what's the methodology. We make it very predictable. And we're able to do this because we've just done this so many times over and over. So what we have is our own templates where we do our rapid deployments. So with the templates, we reuse the old projects with the same team. So typically about 80% of the projects are very straightforward, and it's already there with our template. Then it's just our team understanding what's the difference between you and all of our other clients. What separates you? What's the different changes, the different workflows or reports that you may require? So that's why we can do it in a shorter time at a lower cost, because we're not starting from scratch. We're kind of reusing our knowledge from the previous clients. And so as far as working with other systems, we've been doing this for 20 years, and I'd like to say we've probably seen every single type of integration imaginable. We have our own custom integrations with SAP, between SuccessFactors and SAP, as well as with Oracle, and we've implemented over and over again with other vendors such as ADP and Paychex and Kronos and so on. So what we have is our team led by Mamta in Chicagoland area where our headquarters is, of a core team of consultants. And then we have other consultants and clients throughout the United States and throughout the world. And we have our offshore facilities where we have very strong offices in India, Vietnam, Argentina, Germany, and the Philippines. So what we offer is very flexible programs for support, and also a lot of typically a lot of net new implementations. So hopefully that helps. That's just a little bit of background about our company and what we do, and hopefully how we can assist you. And if we turn over to the next slide, you'll see just a brief listing of our clients. I mean, we have probably over, between our support clients as well, over 150 clients now, and you'll see them in all different size verticals. And you'll see smaller, mid-sized companies such as GT Solar and Ditch Witch, as well as the global companies such as Raytheon and Tyson Foods. And a lot of people ask us, what verticals we specialize in. Well, since we specialize in HR and SuccessFactors, we pretty much cover all the different verticals. We have clients in manufacturing, high tech, wholesale distribution, retail, consumer products, financials, and even public sector and defense contractors. So that's just a little bit about our client base, and we're always happy to introduce you to some of our references as well, if you would like to work with us. So if we move on to the next slide, we're going to pass it on to Sam Lee, who's going to be our presenter today, and he'll take it from here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Scott. Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Lee. I'm the SuccessFactors Senior Delivery Consultant at Terra Information Group, specializing in Employee Central. And for today, by the end of this webinar, you can expect to learn and understand what drives the extensibility needs and understand the primary features of Extension Center and namely things like how the Extension Center builds on top of the SuccessFactors metadata framework, and also the fact that the Extension Center is designed for with business users in mind to give you more control over your system that stretches beyond your relationship with implementation partners. And also by the end of this webinar, you should be able to start thinking about what kind of scenarios that can be addressed by extensions. We'll be looking at some real-life examples and also gain some insight into how you can leverage extensions to bring simple HR programs into your systems. So first, let's talk about the need for extensibility. So why extensibility? And I'm sure many of you already know, the thing about one-size-fits-all solutions is that they just simply, well, they don't fit all. So, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. And very rarely, if ever, you find a ready-made solution that fits your needs out of the box. And this is all because every business has unique needs, be it some mandatory business function that's not covered in out-of-the-box solution. Perhaps it's a drive to differentiate your business process to maintain that competitive advantage in an ever-changing ecosystem. Or maybe it's simply to push your business above and beyond the expand its capabilities. So whatever the need may be, extensibility allows you to go beyond the boundaries of an out-of-the-box solution and carry you that last mile. Now, SAP SuccessFactors extensibility is achieved through two primary means. The first is configure to expand approach. This is the software as a service approach built on top of SuccessFactors metadata framework, and this integrates seamlessly into standard SuccessFactors offerings like Employee Central. The biggest strength of this approach is that there's no coding required. Makes it much easier to maintain extensions even after initial deployment and development by customers. So the typical use case scenarios for this would include simple data collection up to HR programs that don't require too complex logic or external integration, perhaps like a third-party web service. Now, of course, to cover those needs, there is the code to extend approach that can be achieved through SAP HANA Cloud Platform. This gives you the freedom to build custom logic solutions while having it integrate with the Extension Center MDF. And this is suitable for handling much more complex scenarios, and it also allows for integration with external web services and interfacing with other third-party solutions if need be. We will touch back on this topic a little bit of integration and HANA Cloud Platform, how that fits into the big picture a little bit later. Now, before we understand Extension Center, we do need to talk a little bit about metadata framework. And in essence, the metadata framework is the SuccessFactors framework for a multi-layered data model stack. And without that trying to go into too much technical detail, basically you can think of it as 3 different layers, where at the very bottom you have the object model, where you can define custom objects as natural extensions of SuccessFactors defined entities. And on top of that, you have the business logic, where through the use of rules engine and workflow, which a lot of you may already be familiar with if you're using Employee Central, you can use those to implement custom business logics that can handle validation and other business processes. Now at the very top, we have the user interface layer that provides a generic UI for either admin use or a much more rich configurable UI for the end user. And now here you can see a diagram of the layer stack for metadata framework in a little bit more detail. And next to them are arrows indicating the capabilities of this metadata framework. And you can see that the metadata framework uses workflow and rules engine that tie into the business logic layer. It also gives you the ability to import and export to get data in and out of your system. And also, metadata framework is natively integrated with role-based permission. And all MDF objects provide OData API by default, and that can be used to build out mobile app development or used for integration as well. The MDF entities are available for reporting, and there's also audit functionality available, so you can log MDF transactions, which can later be pulled from the MDF audit table through Compound API, etc. And MDF is all about metadata management and configuration. So one thing to note is that SAP SuccessFactors native apps and the custom-built extensions that can be built through Extension Center, they're both built on the metadata framework. And this is a really important point because what's happening is that we're exposing the same tools that SAP SuccessFactors' own apps are built on. So as you're aware, the core product, Employee Central, is built on MDF. In the talent management area, there's succession planning that uses MDF. It uses MDF position objects. There's workforce analytics, operational workforce planning, that's built on MDF. There's recruiting and onboarding, which isn't built on MDF per se, but it integrates with MDF it leverages MDF objects. There's Employee Central position management, built entirely on MDF using MDF position objects. There's job profile builder, absence management, time off, timesheet. Those are all natively built on MDF. There's global benefits solution built natively on MDF. So the metadata framework is the tool that drives the SuccessFactors' own native apps, and those are being provided to customers through Extension Center to allow customers to build highly integrated solutions. And some of the examples, we are going to be talking more about each of these later in the webinar. But things like asset management, there's vendor management. These two are very highly integrated. There's tuition reimbursement, where an employee can take courses and have the fee being reimbursed. Nutrition and fitness, it's like a health and wellness program run by HR department. Employee car lease management, pension plan management, employee reputation score. This is like a system based on employees' participation on HR programs, and you reward employees' reputation scores from an engagement perspective, travel profiles, etc. So this really highlights that core competitive advantage of SAP SuccessFactors Extension Center, where through MDF, we're bringing the whole SuccessFactors experience a little step closer to exposing that platform where the core software is built on, and giving users more heavily integrated yet highly customizable experience while keeping everything still full featured. Now that we understand a little bit more of MDF, we can go talk about Extension Center. And extensibility has always been an important aspect of SAP SuccessFactors strategy. And this is what allows us to push this, the SuccessFactors system over the edge from being a gray solution to becoming the perfect solution. And to achieve this extensibility, SuccessFactors metadata framework, high-level objects were made available for configuration, but the feedback that this has been getting from HR admins and HR analysts was that it was too technical, despite being highly configurable. And so Success Connect 2016, the new Extension Center was launched and was no doubt one of the major releases of SAP SuccessFactors. And the Extension Center offering embraced this feedback that it was too technical and was designed to reposition the whole MDF and make it more approachable by HR admins and HR analysts by unifying and simplifying the MDF toolkits. So whereas previously, the tools for managing the many aspects of MDF, like objects, rules, workflows, UI, these were all individual tools in the admin console. And with the Extension Center release, we've introduced a new paradigm of extensions that function really as an encapsulation of all these, all the capabilities that MDF provides, and guide the users through using a step-by-step process. So this new approach aligns very well with the SAP focus of simple to run and simple to use. So who can use the Extension Center? And this is a very important topic because it talks about a big change, a big shift in SuccessFactors' stance on extensibility. And essentially with the release of Extension Center last year, what is happening is that SuccessFactors is opening this the metadata framework up to even more customers, and allowing the customers to leverage this feature. And the way they're doing that is that if you're already using Employee Central or any of the other modules listed here, so we have EC2 MDF, EC Position Management, there's Next Gen Talent, Succession Planning. So if you're using any of these modules that leverage MDF, the technical prerequisite for using Extension Center is already turned on. If you're not using any of these modules, then you can still put in a request to get it turned on, and this done without having to purchase any extra module, and that's a big benefit for the customer. So extensibility and Extension Center is now a core aspect of SuccessFactors experience. So now one thing to note is that if you're running on the post 1702 release, this can actually be done through the Upgrade Center. Your system admin, your HR admin can go in and use the Upgrade Center to turn this feature on. And there is a very soft limit on how many top level MDF custom objects you can have in your system, which is 25, and they can be incremented by the steps of 25. So it goes 25, 50, 75, etc. Given that you provide a valid business case through customer support. It's a safeguard put in there just to make sure that the system resources of a cloud-based system is not hogged by some poor implementation, and the 25 soft limit is there. The reasoning behind that being that all of SuccessFactors' own native solutions use less than 20 top-level MDF objects, and so they deem it that sufficient to run, the most complicated of extensions possible. Now you can find more detail about this limitation in the link provided on the slide. Now, on the topic of MDF and Extension Center, one of the points to put out there is if you are already using HANA Cloud Platform extensions, which is the code to extend aspect of the extensibility approach here. If you're already using that, then integration with the MDF is achieved through OData APIs, which, to reiterate, is provided by default on MDF objects. And there's also work being done to bring the HANA Cloud Platform extensions to the Extension Center console on the SuccessFactors side. That's coming in Q3 of 2017, so that's another thing to be excited about if you're already using HANA Cloud Platform extensions. So why would one use Extension Center? There are many reasons, but to highlight just a few, well, first of all, it's just simple. That's the whole essence of Extension Center. It's made simple. And secondly, you will see in the upcoming demo and subsequent slides just how comprehensive and holistic the information is that you get from SuccessFactors extensions. Thirdly, the UI is simplified, especially compared to the configure object definitions from an older paradigm. And for those of you who are already familiar with that, it's still there, but managing extensions is just that much more intuitive with the new interface. Fourth point, you will see this in the demo, but this is the bread and butter of the new extension paradigm, the guided step-by-step approach for creating and managing extensions. So it really brings all the MDF toolkit into one centralized place to give you that better overview and insight into how your extension is structured and how it functions. And fifth and final point, the publishing and deploying extensions is now extremely easy. You can build out an extension in the test environment and then push it to preview and maybe finally to production instance in a very, very easy workflow, just push of a button. Now you're looking at a screenshot of the Extension Center landing page. This is the enhanced UI that is used to build, manage, and edit extensions. Now you can notice that it's very simple. It shows you an overview of the extensions and the number of MDF objects that's visible. And it is designed with business users in mind. So trying to keep it not too technical. And with use of the guided workflow, building and editing extensions is extremely simple. So this is going to be the one-stop shop, and this is the console where the future HANA Cloud Platform extension integration is going to happen. That's going to start showing up here as well come Q3. Now, an important feature of Extension Center is that's going to make a lot of HR admins happy is the search feature, and this allows the user to search across all entities of extensions and metadata framework components. So you can search objects, rules, UI elements, all from this one search tool. And this is a very powerful touch in discoverability aspect of the Extension Center. All right, so a nice overview and search, that's all well and done, but what about the extension itself? So the Extension Center provides a details panel that delivers a comprehensive view of what's under the hood of an extension. So here you can see, you can manage, edit, view all of the MDF objects. You can manage rules, workflows, configure the UIs, all that for this extension here. And you can see in the screenshot the fields for extension icon. You can set the title, description, and there's the tool to publish to a different instance, and that's all visible there. Now, sometimes the objects of an extension are not just, they're not just bundles of data. Sometimes they're composite objects. There are parent-child relations. There are different relationship types, like one-to-one, one-to-many, etc. And these are important in understanding the structure of an application. So Extension Center provides the entity relationship diagram, or ER view, to really give you that the big picture of how the objects are organized in your extension. The Extension Center also makes sure to make sure that the process is simple from beginning all the way to the end. So publish to/sync tool makes deployment, just as easy as managing those extensions themselves. So with this tool, you can have an extension built in test instance pushed to production with just a push of a button. Now this really expedites the whole process of from conception to of the extension to the final delivery. Now we're going to be talking a little bit more in detail about the actual use case scenarios for the custom built extensions. So the first two we'll talk about is the asset management and vendor management. These two are actually very highly integrated. So the asset management tool is for tracking and managing company assets, laptops, mobile phones, etc. That's been procured through IT admins. So the asset management is for employees to put in requests for these assets, and the manager and the request goes through a workflow where the manager can review it and approve, or send it back with comments. So here you're looking at a screenshot of said management tool. You have different asset types that you can build out pick lists for. You have the employee name, how many, the request date, the reason for request, and some comment, and the employee can put that in. And that goes through the workflow. You're probably already familiar with this type of view. So this is what we mean by being highly integrated into the core SuccessFactors Employee Central experience. So the workflow takes this request through to the manager, and the manager can comment and then approve or send it back, etc. Now, going on to the vendor management, and this is the procurement side of asset management, where the interested IT manager can put in requests for assets, and that gets approved and is reflected as sales order, and the vendors fulfill those sale orders, and that's how the system works. And you can see here a very similar workflow here, the request being put in with all the details, with asset names, who put that in, the price, expected date, quantity, all those details, and the same kind of workflow. And here you see the tool being integrated into the home page on the vendor management tile over here, and that opens up to be the sales order approval and sales invoice approval buttons. And so this is how Extension Center gets integrated into the system as a natural part of the SuccessFactors ecosystem. Now, a different example, nutrition and fitness extension. So this is the health and wellness provided by HR department, where employees can register for fitness and nutrition programs. Very similar concept. Here you see an ER diagram. So all the different entities associated with this extension. You have participant and the program enrollment. There's a one-to-one relationship there. Then you have the weight loss program associated with the program enrollment, and so on and so forth. So this is the structure of all the different objects, and these can all be built out using the Extension Center as MDF objects. And you'll also be able to see this same kind of relationship diagram in the ER view of the Extension Center. Here you see the object detail with all the different fields and the different data types that it supports. You can build out rules for the business logic, an if condition and a then, where you set certain values of that object to be equal to perhaps a value from another related object, etc. So it's very comprehensive, very powerful. Here you see a screenshot of the workflow. What step one, who's the employee manager is the approver. Step two is the employee HR. You can build out workflows, and I'm sure people who have used Employee Central before are already familiar with this, so that the same tool is available for you to use to design your extensions. And here on the right, you see the profile page with the nutrition and fitness with a very detailed UI, very rich information with program plan schedules and different plan details, and everything's there. Now, yet another example, a tuition reimbursement extension. So this one, pretty straightforward. Employees can take courses from online courses or perhaps attending school, and they can put in requests through an interface like this, where they specify the company, the currency program, which school, and put in details about the classes they're taking, and have that be reimbursed as it goes through the workflow and is approved. So same kind of workflow here. You can see all the details of the reimbursement request. The next example, team event management extension. So this one helps team leaders to organize events, plan out budgets, find venues, and manage all that from the SuccessFactors side by building out extensions with this type of interface, where you can put in settings on the start dates and end dates of the events, the currency, and have a visual guide on the budgets, etc. Employee reputation score. This one gives out reputation score based on employees' participation on HR programs. Examples being things like Friday knowledge sessions. This is something TIG does. Employee referrals, corporate bloggers, where the employees can write insightful blogs about the area of expertise they have, and or company-related events, cloud runs, marathon. So all these different HR programs, and the employees will be given reputation scores like this, like a 5-star rating system, or perhaps something different based on their participation. MDF extension for clearance certificate request, and this is an example where a generic HR requirement is fulfilled through MDF extension. And you see screenshots, yet again something very similar, with you can create and define associated workflows with that process. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I think we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. It appears PowerPoint crashed. And we're back. I do apologize for the little hiccup there. Now, as we were looking at the clearance certificate, here you see the workflow interface for the request. You can see the approver, the contributors, and how that integrates again into the SuccessFactors function and shows up in the to-do list. Here's another example, travel profile. So you can manage travels for employees as an extension. build it into Employee Central as part of employee's profile. You can see all the fields configured. Licenses management, so managing the different types of licenses that employees hold, again, built right into the employee file. So eligibility fields that are auto set, this is achieved through the business logic. And many, many more. So you can think of building out extensions for doing social sabbatical programs, corporate blogging, you can do tech talks, company shuttle and carpooling program. So really the utility is limitless for extensions. And now with Extension Center, you will have just that much more control and insight over your extensions. Looking at a couple more customer use cases where one of our clients built out pension plans and disciplinary actions and job refusals using extensions and building these out as MDF objects. There were certain unique org unit requirements, and that was all handled. That can all be handled through Extension Center. And we talked about how the more complex extension needs will be fulfilled through a code to extend approach through HANA Cloud Platform. But this example was a good case that shows just how capable the MDF SuccessFactors extension is in terms of complexity. Here you see some of the screenshots of that system with the pension plan details showing on the right here, setting up all the different fields. And here you see the disciplinary action. Yet another example of a real case scenario that a company built out pay guidelines, benefits, and payroll, and that done across different countries. And that was achieved through Extension Center. And last but not least, a railway discount cards benefit for employees that was achieved through Extension Center. And you see a screenshot of that on the right here. Now we'll move on to looking at the actual demo. So we're going to be looking at a gym membership extension built using Extension Center. And we're going to be looking at how that looks in an actual system. And I'll explain to you a little bit more on all the different aspects of Extension Center that we only were able to discuss so far using the screenshots. I'll show you how that actually functions. Here you're looking at the Extension Center landing page, and immediately you see we have 3 extensions built out, very easily distinguishable with different icons which you can set. I'll show you in a second. And here we have the gym membership one that we're going to be looking at today. We have another one built out for requesting company cars, where employees can put in requests to use company cars, and for certain durations they can select durations, what kind of maintenance plan, etc. So here we're looking at the gym membership extension. This is the details view where you see the title, the description for the extension. You can select icons for them. Very, very nice selection. There are many, many different pages with clean, modern icons for many different use cases that fit in very nicely with the UI scheme for SuccessFactors. And you can see the action button here. We have the publish extension. This demo instance is not linked to another instance, so it doesn't show us the target instance to push this to. But in your case, you would be able to, just push this button and select the instance to push the extension to, and that'll deploy it. One button click. Very, very easy to do. Here you see we have objects and pick lists. You can build out pick lists very, very easy. You can see here we have some names of gyms that the company is affiliated with, perhaps, where employees can get benefits for signing up for membership. And here we have the object, the gym membership object itself, and we'll take a look at that. And this is where you see the whole step-by-step guided process I was talking about. It shows you, it brings all of the different components of the MDF toolkit. So where you define the objects, how do you define the relationships between the objects, the business logic aspect, the rules, the workflows, the UI elements, some security permission settings. It brings all of that to this one unified terminal, if I may, where you can manage the object in great detail too, and very, very easy. You can add extra fields, select the different data types. You can define relationship and add rules. These are, again, very easy to do. You can put in conditionals. These are very comprehensive, so you can you'll be surprised at how complex rules how complex these rules can be, and the array of different MDF objects you can leverage. Here we're looking at the workflow. This should be very familiar to you for those of you using Employee Central and already have used workflow. This is the exact same tool. Now building out UIs, that's also a breeze. You have this nice interface for rearranging elements, renaming the labels, all done here. And security settings where you can define different permissions based on the different roles. And this shows how well the Employee Central integrates into the role-based permission model to give you that fine control over what different roles can and cannot do to certain objects. Now let's go take a look at an actual example of this extension in action. So I'm going to proxy as Grace. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with this, but proxying basically allows me to, instead of logging out and logging back in, interface with the system on behalf of Grace. Now, here you see on the home page that we built 2 tiles to show you the different options you have. You can link these up with your extensions to really bring the extension into the whole SuccessFactors home experience. Now, clicking on that'll take me directly to the employee profile. We built the gym membership into the employee's profile. It's going to take just a few seconds to load up. And here it is, the gym membership. Very easy to edit. Showing us the interface. You can change the effective dates. You can select gym. You can put in gym names, membership type, monthly, and these can all be built out as pick lists. Corporate rebate, 30%, etc. We'll save. I think we're running into a little bit of a difficulty here. Just I think we're seeing a little bit of an unexpected issue here. I do apologize for that. It's probably a setting in the configuration somewhere. But you can expect this interface, once you save, it'll send this request through the workflow where the manager can see it. It'll show up on the home screen, the home page, as a to-do object, and they can respond to it immediately, or they can open up the workflow interface and put in comments, approve, send back, all the features that are available for the native Employee Central objects as well. Now, I believe in the interest of time, we have what, maybe 10 minutes or so left. I think we can start taking questions.
Sam, thank you very much for that presentation. At this time, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type in the question box, and Sam can start to address the questions. Okay, we have a question, Sam. It says, how easy is it to target an extension to a non-HR person so they can maintain a single field for an employee?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Question is, how easy is it to target an extension to a non-HR person so they can maintain a single field for an employee?
So I'm guessing the question is asking about how easy the whole process is for non-HR people to engage with this system. Now, of course, the backend, the build out of the extensions, those can get a little bit technical, but not so much. And if from a normal user perspective, it's no different from, say, a standard Employee Central profile element. So they would just, be going to their profile, editing, clicking edit, and then putting in the details. So, the employees, the managers, a lot of it is self-serviceable, and it can be built out as such through role-based permission to give your employees that permission. I hope that answers your question. If not, feel free to elaborate on that. Perhaps maybe point out like a specific scenario that might also help as well.
Okay, thank you, Sam, for that answer. Next question we have is extensions by themselves. Hang on a second. Can any company opt for Extension Center? Can it be enabled by a consultant who has access to provisioning?
Yes, absolutely. So it is an option in the provisioning to turn that on. And yes, it can be done through partners or a consultant. And you, as a SuccessFactors client, is entitled to this. And I mentioned this in the presentation when we were talking about the big shift in SuccessFactors' stance on extensibility approach, because previously what they had was they did expose some top-level MDF objects in Employee Central to be used as customized objects, but it was a little bit limited, and if you want to do anything that goes beyond that scope, you would have to, say, purchase HANA Cloud Platform to accomplish that. And then have to build out the extension on the HANA Cloud Platform, have it link back to SuccessFactors using OData API integration. But now you no longer have to do that. So you do not need to purchase anything extra. You don't need to purchase HANA Cloud Platform to take advantage of extensibility in SuccessFactors. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Next question is, are Extension Center and Integration Center features related? Are they related?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Is Extension Center and Integration Center features, are they related?
So, Sam, this is Mamta. I'm the expert on the Integration Center. And the answer to that is no. Extension Center is totally different from Integration Center. Integration Center is used to basically, it's kind of in a middleware that SAP recently introduced to integrate two systems. You can build interfaces between SuccessFactors and third-party vendors.
Thank you, Mamta. Next question we have is, can customers build their own extensions by themselves, or do they need to work with partners?
Well, as is with many elements of SuccessFactors, the HR admins have access to all the tools. The problem a lot of clients run into when they try to implement these themselves is that there are still some technical aspects, and some keen-eyed viewers may have noticed when we were looking at, say, for instance, the rules engine, there are many different MDF objects, and especially system-based objects that you would have to reference to fully bring the capability that the features that you want into your extensions. And those are the parts that you would really benefit by leveraging our knowledge and experience when implementing these. And it is true that through time and experience that your company's own HR admins would get sufficiently trained to start to build extensions themselves, and that's possible. But especially when you're first starting out, I would advise not venturing down that path. I'm telling you, if you have anything to add, please feel free.
Thank you, Sam. Now we have a question that we are interested in building some extensions, and we are wondering if Terra Information can help us with that. Can you tell us how Terra can help us? The answer, I'm going to ask Scott to answer that. Scott, are you online?
Yes, that'd be great. Sam, do you want to go to the last slide and just show them my contact information?
Absolutely. I was actually about to do that. So
thanks a lot. So yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we're kind of out of time, but we'd definitely like to help you out. If you'd like to just email me or give me a call, we could definitely schedule a time to assist you. And Sam, was there any other follow-up you had right now?
Well, so I checked the system, and I did notice one very small mistake, which really was that the browser cache was not cleared, and that was my fault, since I tested this system right before, and I should have cleared that. But here we were getting issues earlier, but just to kind of fly through this, I mean, it's what you would expect if you've used Employee Central stuff before. It's the same kind of process, and the workflow is the same as the Employee Central workflow. And save, and you're prompted with ability to comment. You can see workflow participants, and that gets added as part of the profile. And now the manager can see this on her home page as a to-do item. It integrates very well into the whole system. You can approve the quick access button to approve, can pull up the details. You see the familiar workflow with all the details of the object, and put in comment. Put in approve. So it's all the same kind of same level of fullness and full featuredness that you can expect from Employee Central, but all custom objects that your company needs. So yeah, that concludes the webinar. If we have any more questions, I think that can be addressed to Scott. Please feel free to contact us. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that presentation. That was very informative. And I thank Scott as well for his information. And I would like to thank everybody that attended the webinar. I hope you found the information useful. And should you have any more questions, due to lack of time, we can't address all the questions that were listed. However, we will send out answers to each one of them individually. I will have an email sent to you. Also, a copy of the webinars, the webinar will be sent to all of you. Should you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or email me at simah@terrainformation.com or Scott Lant, and you have Scott's information right here, scott@terrainformation.com. Thank you once again, and have a great day, everybody. Bye now.